Yeah. What's up, guys? Happy Saturday. Holy cow. March 12th, 2022. It is going to be a fun one. A little bit of a late start for a late lock. Almost dropped a Lil Wayne bar. I'm Gun, twitter.com/Gundacker, joined today by Coach Joe of DFS Coach Talk, as has become customary on Saturdays. Coach, we got extra. We got to sleep in today, right? We got to sleep in terms of our clock, in terms, an extra hour before main slate lock. And then I guess we get robbed of that hour tomorrow because you just informed me that the clocks go forward tonight.
Yeah, man. How you doing, Gun? Good to see you, man. I love Saturdays, my favorite day. Love doing the pod with you here, and I'll tell you what, it's weird. My theory is this: whoever made the NBA schedule screwed up by a day, because it's too coincidental. When have we ever had 8 p.m. lock East Coast, and then the next day the clocks happen to turn? So I don't know. Conspiracy theory is somebody screwed up on the schedule, but hey, what are you gonna do? We'll take it.
Yeah, as a person who likes to sleep a lot more, I didn't mind it when I was able to hit snooze a few more times today, and not only that, it also gives me an extra hour to hunt down props. So after this show, I don't know if this is becoming a Saturday tradition, but after this show, I'm gonna be doing the PrizePicks show with Josh, and that's one of the rarest start times, 5 p.m. Eastern. I don't think I've ever started a stream at that time before. So I don't know. It's a backwards day, but man, as is the league, it could be a backwards day for fantasy, because there is a lot of floating pieces of news that we're going to have to throw a net over and try to get under control. Looking like another one of those extreme value chalk days, one of those Greg Popovich influenced value chalk days, and then of course some bits of news that is pretty impactful that we already got, like Jimmy Butler taking the night off. So it's probably going to play a little bit different than maybe what we thought it could be yesterday. But hey, that's the beauty of the game that we played last night. LeBron James led all fantasy scorers with 71 and a quarter fantasy points. Coach, you said you went to that game couple games back in Houston, and hit a different level and took the L. Well, last night, man, 50 real points. From LeBron James. I had way more Luka than LeBron. I don't regret the decision. That was obviously a range of outcome for LeBron to be the better play, but it truly ended up being a lot of lineups. Matter of fact, in like every contest I was in, seemed like the top lineups all had LeBron and Luka, because they were able to get into some of those crazy value plays, like Trey Murphy, shout out to Eric, Dwight Powell, shout out to me, and a couple others, just great Pelicans plays that came through. So when you're able to grab two of the top 3 fantasy scorers on the slate, Julius Randle was in the middle there. It's the studs and scrubs approach works, and there was a lot of high scores past those two. Those were the obvious ones pre-flop. Julius Randle, 69 DraftKings points, 36 real points, 12 boards, 6 assists, 4 stocks. Mitchell Robinson had a bunch of stocks that game. Talked about how the Grizzlies allow the most blocks per game. Bam Adebayo, 30 real points, 17 rebounds against the Cavaliers. John Morant with 59 fantasy points, 37 real points. Gary Trent, this one I had no exposure to. 42 real points, 40 minutes played, 8 rebounds. He hit 8 threes. It's just one of those nights where shooters going to shoot, and that shooter could not miss. Miles Bridges with a 50 bomb. DeJounte with a 50 bomb. Zubac, 52 fantasy points. And then as we get a little bit deeper, my boy Dwight Powell, man, I just had that feeling Had that
Oh,
feeling.
that was a great call.
Yeah, he had an incredible first half that is usually like a week of stats for him. Mo Bamba, 50 fantasy points out of him. Mr. Robinson, 50 fantasy points out of him. So there were so many ways. I said there's many ways to skin a cat on those big slates. Last night there was probably an infinite amount of ways to create 400-point lineups. So I made some money last night. That's great. I will say that a lot of my lineups and a lot of even more profit was anchored down because I took a pretty aggressive amount of Jonas Valanciunas and Alperen Şengün. So it's not all sunshine and roses, but
Exactly.
because of the Powell
tell you-
exposure, I did profit pretty.
that
pretty
was
great.
an awesome call. Anybody that had the time to listen to all the podcasts, you would have been Fat City. But that was like 8 hours of podcast because you and I put out one for Coach Talk that was super long, and then you had all your long ones in the afternoon, your live streams, and then I know you and Eric did an Awesemo one. And I'll tell you though, if you listen to all those, you would have put together some winners. I don't know. I'm sure some of our listeners did, but yeah, great call on Powell for you. I did dial up Luka together with LeBron all over the place. My problem was I didn't listen to you guys on some of the secondary plays. Şengün really hit me right in the gut. That one stung, but it was crazy. It was a fun night for sure. And then today we did a great podcast this morning, but guess what? That's worth about 5 cents right now because DeJounte Murray scratched, Butler scratched. So it's called hit the reset button, Gun. So we got to somewhat start over and get another lineup together.
It is the beauty. What up, live chat? Mia Moore out there. Steve Leibowitz, Vincent Jefferson, Tall to God, Crispy. Yeah. What up, Skimmer? What up, Renza? Craig L says, happy Saturday, Coach and Gun. Don't put your ball in the water on 17. I'm guessing that's a golf reference.
I was watching that. Yeah, and a lot of them were going in the drink, no doubt.
Golf is like the most obvious sport that I haven't started learning yet, and I wanted to do it this year, and I added to my team for that. Yeah. But I haven't ever got into it, and everyone's like, oh, you'll love it, it's so great. All I see on Twitter every week is just complete tilt, utter rage, and I'm just like, do I really need to add this to my life right now? But the prize pools are astronomical, so maybe I should.
It's fun, man. It's so much fun when you're going against a guy and you're watching him hit on 17 in this Players Championship at Sawgrass there. It's fun because you're thinking he's going to go in the water, but then when one of your guys comes up there, you're biting your fingernails off. Like, please, just stick it on the green. But it's a fun one. We got to get you involved with it. Like you said, the prize pools have been outstanding. So, a lot of fun.
I told you how for some reason your camera freezes.
Yeah.
And it's some of the stills that it freezes on. It's like I don't know. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I don't know why it's freezing, but at least my voice isn't freezing. So I guess this face only a mother could love anyway. So if you have a freeze frame, I apologize. Get the kids out of the room.
I too have a face for radio. Okay. What up, Danny P? What up, Obi-Wan? Yeah, Obi-Wan sent me that young screenshot last night. He binked looked like a single entry. What up, Josh? Josh will be with me in about 90 minutes for a PrizePicks show. My boy Chronic. Coach, you told me you might be on the move. Chronic is now in his second day of being a resident of Australia. He's from Michigan. He went to Houston, and now he's in Australia. So
wow,
it's early over there. So shout out to Chronic.
What was the quiz that you gave me the other day? Is it an island or what?
Yeah, he said he got into a taxi cab down there, and he asked the driver, and the driver said it's an island, and of course
there you go.
Our boy.
I wouldn't send me the $5 because I said it's
just because I think he might be brainwashed by government propaganda that want him to think it's an island. It's a freaking continent. It's not the same.
All right.
Oh man, what up, Isaiah Robinson? What up, Nova Scotia? Hey, Duranzo, here for the Lock Watchers.
That's it.
Chronic says he's suffering from gambling withdrawals, so he hasn't quite figured out how to waste money yet. But I think we'll get him smartened up. I know my boy Jermaine, he lurks. If you're out there, get him in there. Steve says I play PJ DFS, but don't watch. It's just a math problem to me. See, one of the things that kind of pushed me away for a while is I hate just having 4 days of upcoming or live content. I don't know, but I haven't got into it. But
You'll get hooked, man. Join me for the Masters. We'll do some Master stuff together. You'll love it.
Maybe baseball is in less than a month, so I don't know. We'll see. I'm not against it, but I just don't know if I got the time to commit to it. But it's definitely something that everyone that I consider a friend or a coworker in this industry, or that's all they do is sweat golf throughout the weekend. So it's
awesome.
just like, do I want to get addicted to another source of pain? I don't know. Hey, speaking of source of, I don't even know what the segue was, but hey, guys, this stream powered by RunDFS.com. If you guys want to get access to the spreadsheets that I'm going to be referencing throughout the duration of this stream, go to RunDFS.com, click yourself VIP memberships, find something that's right for you. Every one of our memberships come with a coupon towards a Fantasy Cruncher subscription. So if you're going to manage multiple lineups and use an optimizer, you can get a little extra bang for your buck, extra utility with a RunDFS.com membership. And then, of course, once you do upgrade, click that VIP portal, click the link to the spreadsheet, but click the link to the premium Discord as well. Every day before lock, I'm in the voice chat for at least 2 hours, chopping it up with you guys. We're talking player props, we're talking lineup construction, we're talking strategy, all that good stuff. And it's just a good time. It's a little fraternal atmosphere. It's part of my daily process, and it's been part of the process for over half a decade. And if you don't want to get in the premium Discord, may I recommend getting into that free Discord, and a link to that is in the description below. Several of you guys have jumped in there. We've launched it 2 weeks ago, and I think this week I'm going to tell Danielle to put together a giveaway, but well over 100 of you guys already jump in there. Chronic amongst the most recent people to join that, so check that out. Before we jump into this slate, I do want to go over some of the news. I fully expected Mike Conley to not play tonight, and I was wondering why that hadn't been released yet, and it just got released. So let's go visit twitter.com/underdog__NBA, where JFan does an incredible job collecting the news, keeping us on our toes. So we'll start with that 3 p.m. news to watch, or tweet that he throws out every day. Zach LaVine questionable, Fred VanVleet questionable, Larry Markkinen questionable, Aaron Gordon questionable, Will Barton questionable, Anthony Edwards probable, Nikola Vucevic probable, Patrick Beverley doubtful, and then we got Sabonis listed as out. Jalen Suggs, that's for tomorrow, questionable. Mo Bamba for tomorrow, questionable. Where's the other Saturday news that just came? Mike Conley just got ruled out for tonight. Sometimes on back-to-backs, we expect that from him most of the times. And then Trent Forrest also ruled out. So this is a crazy slate. I had that feeling in my bad knee that Conley wasn't going to play, and I wasn't sure that Bojan would play. So that's why I made Donovan Mitchell the cover boy here. But no Sabonis will make that game much more odd to figure out, and that's our job. We're going to try and figure it out here.
Speaking of cover boys, we had DeJounte Murray today for Coach Talk, and then Pop wins, last night. Shout out to Pop, by the way, man. I know we give him all kinds of grief here because he does murder us in DFS, but as an old coach myself, the fact that he is now the winningest coach in NBA history, that is an incredible feat, one that I never thought would be broken, and shout out to him. But in pure Pop style, then he benches like half his team. So there you go. So DeJounte's one of the mix also taking the day off.
Yeah, and we've seen that a few times in their last couple weeks, especially on back-to-backs where DeJounte ended up resting. So yeah. Anyway, it's time to navigate these waters, as murky and rough as they may be, and do what we're trained to do. Pull away
Right.
some of the better picks, and understand that there's a lot of news that we're gonna have to babysit throughout the night. But it all begins at 8 p.m. Eastern with the Cavs and the Chicago Bulls. Projected starting five for the Cavs: Darius Garland, Isaac Okoro, Larry Markin, Dean Wade, and Evan Mobley. Up against Ayo Dosunmu, Zach LaVine, Javonte Green, DeMar DeRozan, and Nikola Vucevic. So, based on what we just read a minute ago on Underdog, it looks like we do expect Vucevic to play. He is probable, so it's going to be a full-strength Bulls team. Cavs are on night two of a back-to-back. They are still without Jarrett Allen. No Karis LeVert yet, but they did get Rondo back into the mix. Not a significant impact to the rotation, but maybe it lessens Garland's need to play 40 minutes. Garland at 8,500 on FanDuel, and Evan Mobley at about 7,500 on DK. The two prices that kind of stick out as a price point that I can take advantage of. Up against the Bulls, it's been that front court that we like to target. I was not really there on Mobley yesterday. I thought it might have been an overvalued spot because of the Heat matchup and how they restrict fantasy points and points to opposing centers. But kudos to Evan Mobley. Clocked a solid day's work at that price point. It was highly irrelevant due to the rest of the slate, but 45 fantasy points, another double-double, and a couple of assists here. Four assists in his last three games, kind of making himself useful. So at that $7,500 price point in a plus matchup in terms of DVP, I could certainly justify more Mobley without Allen, and then Darius Garland and his ridiculous 50% assist rate at 8,500. Those are the two prices that stand out the most. On the Bulls, kind of spin the wheel, make a deal with the big three: Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Vucevic. We have seen all three collectively more expensive than today, so maybe we can bend the rules a little bit when it comes to overlapping. Up until today, I tend to not have more than two of the big three, and it is a 220 total, which is a little bit higher than the atypical Cavs game. So I don't mind throwing a couple of these high usage, high upside guys like LaVine, DeRozan, and Vooch in the blender and seeing what spills out. Speaking of which, I'm sipping on a smoothie. Shout out to blenders. But any pieces from this game kind of reaching at you? Like I said, this is kind of the obvious. I don't think I'm going to use this game to get too creative when it comes to value or risky plays, because we're going to have plenty of value elsewhere on this slate. What do you like from Chicago and Cleveland?
Well, let me add this to the mix, and you can cross-check me here to make sure I'm correct. But I have Zach LaVine as questionable, and I'm thinking he may sit. That's sort of the direction that looks to me. So maybe cross-reference that.
You're right. You're right. He didn't go through practice on Friday.
Right. I don't think he's trending to probably not playing. So that changes the landscape of this game for sure for me. And then I'll let you respond here once you adjust to that one. But on my side, Lauri Markkanen is questionable as well. And again, Mobley, since Allen went down, we talked about it on the pod yesterday too. He's just stepping up. It was just hard to push the button on him against a Miami team, but he's not going to face that same pushback with Vuk. So I think Mobley square and play, especially with Allen and maybe the other 7-footer Markkanen out. And then if Markkanen's out, if Markkanen sits, it also brings Love back into the conversation. He'll get a little additional time and minutes off the bench. So something to keep in mind there. You always have to consider Garland. If you can make it fit, I'm redoing my build now that DeJounte Murray's out. But Garland certainly, there's been nothing to say that he hasn't, smashed value every game. He's been doing it. He does get Dosunmu defense, which is decent. So that's something to think about. And it is the second night of a back-to-back for Cleveland, also something to consider. But, my biggest concern here, Gunn, and when you take it back, you can comment on it, but the pace is not great. 26 for Cleveland, only 15th for Chicago. So a little worried about that. But I do think Mobley, Garland, you can look at. And then now that, if LaVine does sit, which I think he will, And Vuk more than likely will play, but that interior defense for Cleveland is tough even without Allen. It actually brings DeMar DeRozan in play, and I'm considering him earlier, but now again with some of the shifting and some of the guys out, he is going to probably be in my player pool from there. So that's what I got on that one.
Yeah, that's very concise and accurate. But DeRozan and Vucevic, I used the NBA Wowie tool, took off Zach LaVine. So if we are preparing or at least entertaining LaVine to sit this one out, it seems like there's a good chance he would. The official numbers here: 32% usage rate on DeRozan, over 1.1 fantasy points per minute on both DK and Fanduel, and then Vucevic 1.3, and that'll be a little bit of a fire and ice matchup because Mobley, world renowned for his defense so far, but it is a back to back. But yeah, sometimes usage and sometimes just the per minute production will usurp any other concerns we might have there. And if Markkanen is out, I'm with you on the thought of Kevin Love, but man, oh man, have I been there several times this year, and they just find a way to give him 19 minutes and run Jetty Osman and Dean Wade.
It's risky.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, we'll keep an eye on the Levine news, taking some notes here. Let me change my notes to reflect Vooch is probable, and then the Sumu was probable as well. All right, cool. All right, let me get caught up on chat, then we'll move on to the next one. Chronic says that claw transition is dope, isn't it though? It works with the whole bear theme that I don't really push as much as I should. It's on all my merch that I don't wear. I should do better about self-branding.
What about Kawhi? You're going after Kawhi with the claw.
Actually, I had Kawhi on the new follow thing. Hey. Actually, I think I still do. I don't know. Somebody out there that isn't subbed, hit that sub button. That's how we do that. And then, if you have your public, or if you have your activities public on YouTube, you'll get a notification. Shine says Jock Londell, maybe with Pirtle down. Maybe Zach Collins would probably look okay as well. Do wonder about Collins being restricted on a back-to-back. Steve says, as J. Gels band once said, love stinks except for 1 in 3 games. Coach, you're a cow.
I know that song.
Yeah, never mind. I need to. Coach, you're a Cowboys fan. You saw Amari Cooper traded.
I don't want to speak of that. I take the fifth. I'm furious.
I saw a tweet that kind of tickled me pink about that, where Calvin Ridley got suspended for a year for gambling. Right? You heard about that?
Yeah. Right.
It said Amari Cooper traded to the Browns. So my dude's working on a same-game parlay as we speak, implying that he wants to get suspended so he doesn't have to deal with the Browns and Baker Mayfield. So, shout out to...
Disgusting.
Yeah, I was a Browns fan for a couple weeks. Then I got traded to the Rams. Hey, me and Odell, we survived. T-Wolves up against the Heat. Next game on the docket. Project starting 5 for the T-Wolves. D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, and Karl Anthony Towns, the big cat, Ernie Ladd taking on Kyle Lowry, Gabe Vincent, Duncan Robinson, PJ Tucker, and Bam Adebayo. 229.5 is our total. 3.5 point spread in favor of the home team Miami Heat. Jordan McLaughlin, in the arms of an angel, did have a Q tag on him, but I think he's fine. Patrick Beverley's a little closer to out. Vanderbilt listed as out. Let me double check on that, McLaughlin. Don't catch me lying.
I know you've been doing podcasts with Eric because now you're singing songs. So.
I am known for being a little bit goofy, but it depends on my energy levels and if I've
Sarah McLaughlin is questionable, by the way.
There we go. I see. You got it. See, sometimes I have these references and I don't know who's gonna get them, and then I just look like an idiot.
PJ Tucker also questionable, and I got a gut feeling he's trending to be out. Just for more info.
And Jimmy Butler out, so that's a significant impact to Miami Heat here.
Defense,
and Oladipo out, right? We're not going to torch him on a back-to-back. So this is a Heat team that we now can boost a lot of expected usage and minutes. And it's a T-Wolves team that has essentially been the fastest-paced team in the league in the last couple of weeks to months to probably this side of the calendar year. So the Heat really look not only viable, but very stackable top to bottom. We'll go reference that on-off court tool here.
No Caleb Martin either.
Yeah, a lot of
and
holes.
He'd have got probably upper 20s, maybe 30 minutes if he'd have got in. So it's going to be all you can eat on some of these dudes like Duncan Robinson and company.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you trust them, but 35 minutes probably.
Yeah, there's definitely a potential landmine factor here, but it's hard. It seems far-fetched to assume that 2 or 3 Heat aren't super optimal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Lowry on the court. I'm going to put Adebayo on the court. I'm going to take off Jimmy Butler. We're just going to know that Hero is going to be a utility guy that probably plays 38 minutes anyway. But Lowry, Adebayo on, Butler off since January 1st. We got less than 90 minutes of sample size. However, 28% usage rate on Bam Adebayo. Remember, he's coming off a huge game from last night. Lowry is only 14%, but Lowry has an incredibly high assist rate, 28%. Maybe something me and Josh will talk about on the PrizePicks show coming up after this show. But Adebayo, 1.5 fantasy points per minute in this split. And then you saw what Mo Bamba was able to accomplish last night. So a lot of stuff trending in the right direction for Adebayo tonight. And then Tyler Hero, about 1.2 fantasy point per minute in this split as well. Coach, what's not to like about the Heat here? Maybe Duncan Robinson, but yeah, and if we add PJ Tucker to that out list, this is an extremely stackable Heat team and what has been an extremely fruitful opportunity going against that high-paced Timberwolves offense that kind of sells out for defense, and 2 of their best defenders are out, right? Beverly, Vanderbilt. Well, Beverly doubtful, right? So we can imply that 2 of their best defenders are not going to make this one. I think Taron Prince is probably their best individual defender left, but I don't expect more than 24 minutes out of him. So what's not to like about the Heat, man? Is this one of your core spots to target?
100%. With those guys out, it's just strictly, you say it all the time too. Minutes equal money. Plus, you've got a Minnesota team, as you mentioned, have been the fastest team in the league for almost 2 months now, and they lose their perimeter defenders. I mean, everything just it's a back-to-back also. So you've got all kinds of pluses here for the guys that are going to get the big minutes from Miami. I do have my lock washer. Ooh. So whoever was calling out lock washer in chat, it is Bam Adebayo.
Okay.
He's 8-1 on DraftKings. Cat is not a good defender. And I just, the usage, as you read, I looked up those same numbers. It's very apparent he's the man to go to. The question is, who else do you go to here? And I'm interested in 3-3 Duncan Robinson because I think he gets up 10 or 12 threes. I don't know how many he makes, but I'm thinking he gets 16 shots, 17 shots up tonight. Also, you can look at a Max Strus or a Gabe Vincent. They're all super cheap. So I see a strong path of buying up for Bam and then getting a couple, 1 or 2, maybe 2 value plays here and letting it ride with Miami. I think it's a logical path to a really strong build because it allows you to buy up for a real big guy like the Joker.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with all that. I'll be heavily targeting the Heat tonight, and I can already sniff out a couple prop bets I'm going to be high on. And then I'm going to make sure I get to some T-Wolves here. Anthony Edwards still on the south side of 7K on Fanduel. And then D'Angelo Russell without Patrick Beverly has the opportunity before him to play pure point guard here. 35 minutes. I got that leading the team right now in my early minute projections. And his assist rate is going to be pretty high as well. So I do like a sub 8K D'Angelo Russell to give me a shot at 40-plus fantasy points. Yeah, the big three have some volatility. If one guy spikes, it may may cannibalize the other guy's ceiling. So I'm going to set some wedges in my cruncher player groups where I probably don't get to more than 2 of those 3. And maybe I even think about more than 1 depending on the rest of the slate. But individually, there's some meat on the bone at a $9,400 Carl-Anthony Towns. And then Edwards being sub 7K on Fanduel. And D-Russ under 8K on both sides. Certainly some room for upside there. Generally, I don't like centers against the Heat, but Cat's kind of one of those stretch fives that I don't necessarily have to sweat the points in the paint, which has been a big part of the Heat's ability to contain opposing bigs. And then, look at last night, a little bit of fantasy success as well. So usage minutes can trump sometimes the matchup for me. And this might be one of those spots, a 230 implied total. And respect for the Heat here, even without Jimmy and a couple of Qs, still home favored. And kind of like the Suns, we've seen them kind of just handle business. I mean, they've been sitting at the top of the Eastern Conference all year, never really been 100% for more than a couple of games in a row. But they just keep getting it done here. And kind of, I want to say likewise, the T-Wolves were picking up a lot of steam, last couple of weeks, playing at one of the best offensive ratings in the league, and just selling out for defense. So when that offense doesn't click, bad stuff happens to good people. So I'm going to definitely be bullish on Heat here, and then we're going to spin the wheel on these T-Wolves and hope for the best. The JoJo Rabbit says, thinking Mobley gets more looks since Allen has been out. Mobley's been a lot better. Yeah, more productive for fantasy, and you could solidify his minutes as well. A. Dean in the chat here. Keith says, this is an NBA show, Gun. Let the Cowboys news be. I'm guessing.
Earn it.
That's not a well-received bit of information for Cowboys land, I suppose.
No. I do have a question. Did you say Cat's price on FanDuel?
9-4.
And see, that's the thing. Cat's 10-6 on DraftKings. So, you're talking a $1,200 jump there. Mm-hmm. So you got to look at him on FanDuel for sure at that price.
Yeah, and sometimes if you trust one site's algorithm over the other, you can kind of use them against each other. And there's definitely nights that I have exposure to some players on one site and none on the other site just because of pricing.
Exactly.
One of the more egregious standouts. Next game on the docket, Pacers at the Spurs. Before we talk about this game, chat, I'm gonna need them likes. I'm gonna need you guys to hit that like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. And might as well turn on that notifications bell because we've been pumping out content. And there's more to come in the woodwork. So get those vibes high. Get those likes high. Pacers, Spurs. Project 25 for the Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton, Chris Duarte, Buddy Hield, Oshae Brissett, and Isaiah Jackson taking on Trey Jones, Devin Vassell, Dougie McBuckets, Keita Bates-Diop, and Zach Collins. We've got a lot of outs for the Spurs here, most notably Keldon Johnson, Romeo Langford, DeJounte Murray, Jakob Poeltl, and Joe Wieskamp. So looking at a couple of different sources in terms of projecting the starting lineup, left me with Trey Jones being in the starting lineup, Devin Vassell. I do think there's a world where like Josh Richardson or Lonnie Walker can. Your guess is probably as good as mine, if not better, but it seems like at worst we have a very limited rotation. It could be as little as 9 or 10. Maybe we get to one of those daunted 8-man rotations and we just soak up a ton of implied minutes. Coach, this is a Pacers team that I've been targeting since the Sabonis trade. And today, Malcolm Brogdon's out. So that allows me to hyper-focus in on Tyrese Halliburton, who I pulled 2 Halliburton rookie cards yesterday on the live stream. So shout out to Stevie's Card Cave for that one. So kind of a narrative push there for 8,300 on FanDuel for Halliburton in a spot against the Spurs that was probably already a solid spot, and now it becomes that much better, and that's another spot where I'm likely going to be looking at individual player props, especially assist rates for Halliburton because he's been just an assist machine. So I think this is a spot where he could push 40 minutes, and I think that's going to be an incredible opportunity at both 9K, but especially 8,300 on FanDuel. I like this game. I think it's going to be a tricky chalk spot, right? There's going to be failure in the Spurs slew of chalk value, but there's going to be success as well. Did you have early leans on who the standout options were for you? Is it Trey Jones, Devin Vassell, Lonnie Walker, and then what do you do with the front court between Landale and Zach Collins? We had something similar to this a couple weeks back.
Well, this is my favorite game on the slate. I think I'll be stacking up probably 2v2 here at least. And so really after these first two games, I'm going to almost be all in. But this game's so awesome. To be Trey Jones at 3-5 is a free square, 100% owned. I think he's going to be super chalky. He deserves to be because he's the point guard that's going to play the majority of the game. He always steps up. It's against a shaky Pacers defense. Like you said, we've been targeting against them. So I think Trey, free square, definitely. He's almost qualifies for a second lock washer, not to blow the minds of the viewers here, but I think it's too good to pass up. The guy that I like is the second fiddle for the Spurs, and I can't wait to get your response on this one. I like Joshua Primo. He's 3-4. He's completely cleared for this game. Again, there's risk there. Certainly a better GPP play. Maybe he only gets 25, 28 minutes, but at 3-4, I think that's probably all you're going to need. And I really like what I've seen from the kid the last couple of times I've seen him play. So maybe going to him as the second guy there with San Antonio. I really have no interest in the timeshare between Zach Collins and Landale. And if they put somebody else in that spot, who knows who. But it's just too risky for me. I'm starting my lineup with Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, let's face it. He's terrific. He's going against a shorthanded Spurs team. The pace in this great game is terrific. Spurs are 5th in the league in pace. Neither defense is any good. We know it's second night of a back-to-back for the Spurs. It's first night back-to-back for Indiana. So Brogdon sits. And when Brogdon sits, it's Halliburton's team 100%. He'll get a lot more shots up. His assist ratio's through the roof. He's my number one choice for sure. And then after that, I think there's a lot of options here that you can go to. Gunn, I think Buddy Hield, even though he's a little overpriced, gets shots up there. I love Jalen Smith. Every time I play him, he gets to his number, starting or off the bench. He's 5'6". And Isaiah Jackson, same thing. Goga Batazzi was listed as questionable. He may play, we'll see. But he has just not been that effective, and he's been coming off the bench. So for me, it's all the way Halliburton. Consideration for Hield, Smith, Jackson. Wouldn't mind a flyer for Brissett, and certainly going to go Trey Jones and possibly one of the value guys for the Spurs. So hard to get away from here, but I think the chalk is going to be something that you just have to eat here because it's too good to pass up.
Yeah, I think it just becomes a matter of I'm going to say the luckiest, but the right combination at the end of the night. Looking at the last game where the Spurs kind of full punted in a similar situation to where we saw essentially this projected starting lineup: Trey Jones, Devin Vassell, Bates Diop, Dougie McBucket, Zach Collins, and just kind of looking at how minutes were distributed. Trey Jones, 35 minutes in that game, Bates Diop, 34 minutes, and then off the bench, Jay Rich, 26 minutes, and Jock Landale, 25 minutes. He picked up 5 fouls in those 25 minutes, but it is something to at least be cognitive of because Zach Collins was out for an extended period of time, and they've been kind of working his way back, never really giving him too many minutes here. I think I expect on a back-to-back to not get to a deep amount of minutes in his projection either. So maybe Landale behind Collins is something we can justify. But we have so much viability at center today that I don't know that I need to take this risk here with the guys like Bam Adebayo before Seven Mobley, guys like that. So I'm with you on Trey Jones. I think at 3,500 on DK, your lineup should come preloaded, right? When you enter contest lineup there should already have Trey Jones in it. And there's just no pushback for me on that. And then I'm with you on Halliburton here. Let's do an on-off court tool here and kind of paint this picture for
His numbers jumped so much with
yeah, and the
Bobby
minutes,
off
and
the
and not just for him. We've seen Buddy Hield have a propensity to play 40 minutes as well. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna
He's gotten assists there, which he never knew a pass. I don't think he threw a pass in Sacramento. Everything was chuck and duck. So I don't know. He's even passing the ball.
So on this calendar year, I guess on the seasons post trade, Halliburton on the court, Brogdon off the court. Halliburton has a 37% assist rate. What? That's crazy. 1.18 Fanduel points per minute, 1.2 usage rate over 20%, and probably what I'm going to like the most, the fact he's probably going to play upwards of 40 minutes if all goes well. So did you still have the Spurs favorited, or is my information from before?
I have the Spurs favorite by 2, which doesn't seem to make any sense to me. But
yeah, I had that thought yesterday. I was like, the Pelicans should not be 2-point favorite or underdogs. That the spread should be much wider, and I was right. I suck at Vegas, but I think kind of I don't know. I guess the Pacers haven't been great, but yeah, it's a weird line for Spurs back to back to be favored against a Pacers team that's not necessarily full strength, but I don't know. Halliburton, Duarte, Hield, and that front court should be able to squeak out some success, but really strong game for fantasy here. Let me get caught up on chat before we move on. Doug says Bates, Diop, and Trey Jones for me. Shana says, I'm so excited you guys are doing this again. Shout out to Shana.
It's Shanna. No, I'm just kidding. It's Shauna. I'm busting your chops. It is Sean. I corrected you last week.
Yeah, it's a troll now. Nova Scotia says, Lockwasher, second fiddle. Coach walked to school in the snow, uphill, both ways. One shoe.
Carrying my brother on my shoulders.
Oh man, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Hey, young blood, tell your old school folks to chill out.
Young blood. Jay Neville, new to subscribe. Let's get your tonight words. Let's do it. So excited. What up? E made it happen. Yeah. Buddy assist prop over. Looks good. He's been going to feed Halliburton. All right. Something to keep an eye on. Parker Douglas says McDermott or Keita Bates Diop. Last man in, both min price. So I guess my projection likes Bates Diop more than McDermott. And
Same
also,
here.
if we're going to tail what happened that last game, Bates Diop played 35 minutes. So if that's a range outcome here, I'd probably go that way. McDermott's just kind of like real points and hope he accidentally gets a peripheral here and there, right? So I think Bates Diop would probably be the almost snap call for me there.
I agree.
Yeah. All right.
3K, dude. 3K.
Yeah, really cheap and everywhere. Yahoo as well. Bucks at the Golden State Warriors. This is an 8:30 p.m. game. Bucks project starting 5. Drew Holiday, Grayson Allen, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Bobby Portis taking on Steph Curry, Moses Moody, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, Kevin Looney. A 237.5 total 2-point spread in favor of the visiting Milwaukee Bucks. A potential Western or NBA Finals preview if the Warriors can right the ship here. Although I got love for the Suns. Giannis Antetokounmpo, if you can get him in a game with a single-digit spread, you can imply him for 4 quarters of action. And I don't know what you, Coach, it doesn't seem like we have that much problem getting to value plays today. So Giannis Antetokounmpo likely going to project as the highest raw point producer out there. Maybe Jokic is just an inch above him. And, yeah, I guess that's exactly what I have. But it's easier to get to Giannis today than it almost ever is. And if we game script this game to stay close, there should be some pieces to pull away here for some of those floor points and then those ceiling points. Kind of like last night where I had Luka and LeBron both projected for top 2 on the slate within 2 points standard deviation being what it is, where Luka didn't quite get all of the ceiling. It was kind of a blowout, but LeBron did. There's still a world where Giannis outscores Nikola Jokic tonight. So just because the early projections have Jokic over doesn't mean I'm not going to play Giannis liberally here. So I do like the thought of Giannis being our reward for playing Keita Bates-Diop and Trey Jones. And he stands out early on as a piece to grab here. And then Bobby Portis, under 7K on both Fanduel and DraftKings, has put together a couple strong games. And he has been a three-point extraordinaire. We know sometimes these games against the Warriors can turn into three-point contests. So I think everyone on the Bucks is appropriately priced. We're not really getting some obscene discounts. Grayson Allen on the south side of 4K on DraftKings, maybe on a different slate, different timeline where we didn't have the San Antonio Spurs. I'd click on that, but I think it's just the normal suspects from the Bucks for me. And then on the Warriors side, Klay Thompson, he might get fully lost in the sauce, right? There's a lot of girth in the 8-9K range. Tyrese Halliburton, Darius Garland, guys like that, a little cheaper, you can get to Kyle Lowry, and then all the way down, we got the Trey Jones of the world. So Curry might get lost in the sauce here, and if he has one of those vintage Curry nights to keep this game competitive, we know the Bucks funnel defense here. They're going to make you chuck threes, and they'll allow the most points via the three ball in the league, essentially. And that's kind of Steph Curry's thing. He does it better than literally anyone ever. So maybe Steph Curry is a fun contrarian click in tournaments. Klay Thompson also somebody that could take advantage of that three-point matchup. Not warm and fuzzy on much else here. Maybe Jordan Poole if they go full sellout for offense. We've seen some big offense out of him coming off the bench playing that six-man role. I could see this game kind of falling through the cracks where you get to a Giannis here, a Curry here, something like that. Did you have any crazy thoughts about this game? It is a 237.5 total, but it seems like the prices have. This is one of the few games not impacted by some crazy news where the prices are what they should be.
Right, and you know what? That's maybe my contrarian take is the fact that I just don't like this game at all. Mm-hmm. And people, number one. The national TV games have a tendency to get overowned. I know nobody ever really talks about that much, and the real players, the pros and stuff, that doesn't matter. But just the average players that build some of these pools and some of these contests, if it's close between guys, they're always going to pick the guy they can watch if they don't have the ticket or something where they can see these guys. So number one, you're fighting a little bit of extra exposure that you really shouldn't have to. And I know the number's decent at 237.5, and the line is close, so everybody's going to want to buy in. But I think the pricing is just totally jacked up here. I can't spend the money they're asking for Curry, Thompson, Wiggins, Holiday, Middleton, Portis. The only exception is Giannis, and I'm with you. I have Giannis and the Joker basically in a dead heat for the highest DFS points for the night. So I haven't decided yet, but I will have either Giannis or Joker, one or the other, in my main lineup. That's the decision that I have to make. But after that, I feel very comfortable passing this game because there's no value in any of these guys. And I think the game's going to be a little bit overowned and really doesn't deserve to be, in my opinion.
Okay. All right.
I can take a stance, right? I can't say I don't have a backbone.
Yeah.
I mean, this game will be 150, 147 in triple overtime.
Yeah. No, I definitely understand the sentiment there, and you got to take stances on these bigger slates. I haven't got a pulse on projected ownership yet. I kind of don't imagine. I don't know. I guess I haven't put credence to the TV. I don't know, sticker marker on it, but
it moves the needle a little bit.
Yeah,
it does.
But so like I said yesterday, while we had LeBron and Luka as the highest projected scores on the slate, a lot of contests RM actually included both those guys in the top lineup. And I was looking at chat, and who was it? Somebody just mentioned about putting them both. Oh, Doug, no. Somebody just mentioned about putting both Giannis and Jokic in the lineup today. Oh, Nova Scotia says, "Is there enough value out there?" There just might be. But I guess that would be the ultra studs and scrub approach.
Right.
I think.
Well, you know what? I'm a little gun shy. Speaking of gun, because I did it yesterday, but the secondary guys, did not get it done. So maybe if I can get the secondary guys to get it done, it would be amazing. I've never had both Giannis and the Joker in a lineup. Have you?
Yeah, Fanduel. Let's anything is possible. Oh.
I guess. Not often though.
With that said, there is a lot of upside in the 8K range that I didn't really feel that way yesterday. I thought there was a lot of 5K value and then a lot of extra. Today, I think the 7, 8K is very strong. We talked about the Heat. Talked about Tyrese Halliburton. There's just a lot of upside there that the balanced lineup has a lot more steam for me today than it did last night. So, yeah, I do think it is possible to get Giannis and Jokic, but you're not going to get Giannis, Jokic, and like an 8, 9K guy. And you know what I mean? So, I don't know.
It's too hard, especially I want Bam, I want Halliburton. There's just no way. But I still think you can get Giannis or Joker in there with all the value.
Absolutely. Yeah. CW89 says, any W going to get playing time finally? Maybe.
Doubt it.
Did we get Bojan news yet? Oh, you know what? I forgot to everyone tag in my own Discord that we were live. That's why we only got 147 of the coolest cats in YouTube hanging out right now.
Doing,
I don't know.
Word out, man.
I mean, you would think they know, though. You would think they know. If all they had to do was like, subscribe, and hit that notifications bell, and then they would have known. They would have got that push noti on their phone, their mobile device, if they have noties on their desktop. Then they would have known. So it's on them, if we're being honest. Or if they follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Gundecker, they would have known. So, I don't know. I'm not going to hold too much blame here.
Gun. I'm sorry, I'm blaming you. How many likes do we have?
Great question. It looks like we were at 49. Unacceptable.
What?
Unacceptable. Bojan's in. All right, cool. Nova says, Coach has a backbone that's a little crooked from carrying his brother to school.
Exactly.
All right, moving on here. Raptors at the Denver Nuggets. Projects 35 for the Raptors. Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr., Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam, Kem Birch. Up against Monte Morris, Will Barton, Aaron Gordon, Jeff Green, and Nikola Jokic. 223.5 is our total 6-point spread in favor of the Nuggets of Denver. We do have several bits of information to track from the Denver side. Bones Highland, probable. Will Barton, questionable left ankle sprain. Aaron Gordon, right foot soreness, also questionable. Zeke Naji, questionable. And we've actually seen a couple games now of Will Barton sitting, and that has per minute increased the potential for Monte Morris. Kind of a yuck game pre-flop when you consider the two teams involved. And then on the Raptors side, you consider the fact that it is a back-to-back and one of the tougher back-to-backs in basketball is going into Denver on the night too. So a lot to keep tabs on here. Jokic is probably the most alluring part of this game. And then past him, I guess you can make some cases for guys that might benefit with no Will Barton. But I really think that's a different slate, a different timeline. Doesn't have to be today. By the way, Fred VanVleet, questionable. I guess I didn't announce that. So
that was late. That was a late news thing. So.
All right. What do you anything from this game for you other than Jokic? I guess if VanVleet didn't play, that's interesting because Malachi Flynn's also out, and so is OG Anunoby. We've seen Gary Trent kind of start the point guard, and Siakam and Scotty Barnes also. I guess Scotty Barnes has been playing point guard as well in some stretches. Something we talked about on yesterday's I think it was this stream with Josh, is that the Toronto Raptors have the lowest assist rate, or the second lowest assist rate in all of basketball. I guess they're tied with the Knicks for lowest assist rate, and that's not what you want. So you lose your pure point guard here, and you kind of lean on some of these other guys. I think we're throwing a net over some really, really egregious minute projections, 37, 38. But in context of the slate, is there a reason to be over excited about getting to these Raptors here in this Denver back-to-back. I think it's the obvious have some shares of Trent, Barnes, and Siakam in mass entry, and if everyone moves up 90 feet and that starting lineup opens up opportunity for Boucher, Achua, extended minutes, something like that, yeah, maybe there's some value to be had there. But even those guys aren't like the 3/8s, the low 4Ks that sometimes we could take advantage of before this. Anything that's screaming at you from this game, and then obviously Jokic, we both agreed that our projections have him as the highest scorer on the slate, so we're going to want the raw points on a slate with just an immense amount of value. Anything past Jokic that you're finding yourself getting any bit of exposure to?
No, I really don't care for this game. The only thing would be if Van Vliet does sit, I think it elevates Scotty Barnes. 7'4" is not cheap, but he does play that pseudo, point guardish type of thing when Van Vliet's out a lot of times. So I think it does elevate his numbers, and he would be in consideration, but not racing to him. And then really, with Morris and Highland both getting minutes, even if Barton sits, and that's not a sure thing that he sits, just no interest really in anybody else there other than the Joker. So pretty easy one.
I swear, like every 10 minutes in chat, somebody says Sabonis is out. Is this like, are y'all trolling me? Like, is this a meme? I think.
Bonus?
Yeah.
Let me go look.
No, he is out, but I'm saying it's just like every time I look up, someone in chat is saying
people want to make sure you know.
Yeah, appreciate that, chat. Shout out to DJ Mad Marv, but I've seen people. Oh my gosh,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, chat. If you guys have a different spin on this one, I don't think I'm gonna get too creative here. And this is probably a spot where we really don't have a lot of that actionable news by main slate lock, right? So we're not gonna twiddle our fingers and miss out on some of this early value, hoping and praying that Denver opens up, and we're not running to play. As much as I do think Monte Morris becomes a better play without Will Barton, he's not like an extreme smash play, and we're definitely not running to play Austin Rivers or anybody like that. So it's just grabbing some Jokic for me and going from there. So let's move on. Let's matriculate on to the next one. Sacramento Kings. Big news here. Domantas Sabonis is out.
Really?
Source every 10 minutes in
sure?
chat. I'm somewhat sure. All right. Our project starting 5. I get so this is a game that actually news dropped while I was right. I think right as I clicked the go live button. So let me redress up aesthetically the projected starting lineup for Sacramento and
Want me to give you my guess?
So Rashawn Holmes or Damian Jones, who starts?
I think Rashawn Holmes starts.
All right.
I think it's Fox, Holiday, Barnes, Lyles, Holmes, but I have no interest in Holmes or James anyway. Jones.
Yeah. All right. So let me put Mike Conley out on this side. Trent Forrest out as well.
Yeah.
Bogdan looks like he's going to play. Harkless, Q, Lamb, Q, Terrence Davis out, and Domantas Sabonis out. And then before we finish that, let's see if Vegas line has moved because Jesus H, it has to, right? Domantas Sabonis.
It has to. I was a little worried Utah may smash them, but now without Sabonis, could be ugly.
Yeah. Utah is 10.5 point favorites now.
Right.
I don't see a spread, or I don't see a total. So we'll just
moved from 9.5 to 10.5, and it's 228.5 right now.
All right. Projected starting 5 for the Kings: De'Aaron Fox, Justin Holiday, Harrison Barnes, Trey Lyles, Rashawn Holmes up against Donovan Mitchell, Jordan Clarkson, Bojan Bogdanovic, Royce O'Neal, and Rudy Gobert. So now we're wrestling with, does this game stay competitive long enough, strong enough to get time out of Donovan Mitchell? If so, Mitchell against this Kings defense, literally the worst defense in the league, is looking really thick, as the kids say, Coach. I don't know if you've heard that terminology. No. All right, well, it's spelled with 2 C's, no K. They said, get that out of there. We'll just have extra seat. So it's thick. So Darren Fox what? Darren Fox could push 50 fantasy points up against the Sacramento Kings. It's just 8,100 on FanDuel, 8,600. The necessity here is this game probably needs to stay somewhat competitive, and with the Kings being without Domantas Sabonis, is what I think we're seeing here. No Sabonis, right, chat?
It's possible. 50-50.
It's going to be easier said than done. So I don't know. What's your read here? There's a lot of very viable options if we get this game close enough, strong enough, long enough. Donovan Mitchell, though, seems like the guy that's the most appealing to me. And then I liked Rudy Gobert against San Antonio yesterday. One of the redeeming qualities of the San Antonio matchup was the fact that they allow a top 5 amount of points in the paint, and it was just a really good spot DVP-wise and peripheral-wise. Well, Sacramento's an even better spot, allowing even more points in the paint, and then on top of all that can offer some upside to Rudy Gobert's strengths. They allow the 7.2 steals per game, which is not what you want. It's just going to be bottom half in the league. And then I guess blocks per game allowed. Sacramento is top 10. So Rudy Gobert, known blocker and stealer of the basketball, certainly could take advantage of that. He's implied for 3 stocks, or he averages 3 stocks a game as it is. So could be a fun spot to get a sub 8K Rudy Gobert, which in context to the rest of the slate at that price point, that's a down payment on a brand new Bam Adebayo, and I kind of lean Bam there because of the spike without Jimmy, but it makes him very, very viable. The debate, the great debate here is, does this game stay close? It's kind of a rare, when it comes to fatigue and rest, kind of an advantage Kings, because the Jazz did go 12 rounds yesterday, and it is a back-to-back. Right. So I would imagine the Kings were waiting on them. But this is a bad team, and no Sabonis, this team gets worse. So how are you approaching Utah and Sacramento?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bummer because when I did the podcast this morning, I had no idea Sabonis was going to be out. Mm-hmm. And I thought Bogdanovich would probably sit again, and now he's in. So those two aspects made me like Donovan Mitchell a lot more, because I figured, Bogdanovich, he's going to get double-digit shots up. So thought Mitchell's going to gain some of those shots, and with Sabonis, they could hang in there. Now both of those scenarios have changed, and all of a sudden an 8-6 Mitchell's looking a little costly to me, when he may not see the floor in the fourth quarter. So I'm a little worried about, this game. Fox is so pricey now at 9.4. I just don't like the feel. It seems like you can get burned here, and you'd have to really, use some salary if you wanted to pay up. I will say I agree with you, though, that Gobert is cheap. The fact that he's sub 8K is not bad at all, but it is the second night of a back-to-back, so that, they don't push Gobert very hard either. And then, people don't talk about it much, but, Sacramento going into Utah is no cup of tea either. Everybody wants to talk about Denver, and it's true, but Utah is not much different, and that is not an easy place to go to. I think, actually, I've talked about that quite a bit. I think I heard you speak of that on your show in the last couple of days, that the stats really play that out, too, with Utah. So, I can't say that I'm very crazy about this game. I don't even like the value plays, because the other games with the Spurs and all those teams with the value, I think, are better values. So I'm not digging this game at all. It could be a complete pass for me unless I have an extra spot where you can roster 2 centers for a Gobert.
Yeah, so that's probably what I'm going to do, cherry pick for some ceiling, and doesn't really seem like a spot where we have to lean on the Kings' potential value, right? There is a case to be made that Rashawn Holmes, it is a tough matchup, but 3,300, 3,700, if he were to get 15 or 25 minutes, 28 minutes, he could pay that off. Same with Damian Jones if he got the opportunity. But they're liable to go all crazy in that front court. Chimezie Metu, you could stretch out Harrison Barnes. It could be a nightmare. Lynn. And I just don't want to, Alex Lynn, Ukrainian, great. I just don't want to, it feels like one of those spots where it's just not necessary to exhaust the energy to getting the Kings right.
Too much
If
risk.
there's when we have the alternatives here, sometimes pivots are nice, but a pivot, I don't know, a pivot to
I got pivoted right in the gut last night, so you can over pivot too.
what? What? All right. Well, I'm gonna pivot into a plug for presenting sponsor PrizePicks. By the way, PrizePicks, man, they sent me a mystery box, Coach.
I didn't get one.
Well, I don't know.
Man, you're getting baseball cards, basketball cards, mystery boxes. I'm sitting here twiddling my thumbs.
If you guys want to know what's in that mystery box, there's a video on this channel. I let Danielle, my beautiful girlfriend, open it. We made it's a less than 3-minute video. She opened the box and pulled out the stuff that was in the box. So go check that out. But PrizePicks is so much fun. They're such a good company. And I love playing on them. And we're going to have a PrizePicks show in about 25 minutes right here on this channel following this show. So if you're not on PrizePicks, literally right now, you can go sign up. You can use code GUNDACKER. They're going to double your first deposit up to $100. So you can turn a $20 bill into a $40 bill and start getting some of those prop picks going tonight. You can up to 10x your money tonight if you are the type of person to have a real life, or you want to go out on a Saturday night and you can't late swap all your lineups when Jokic gets nothing. You can just have those cards entered on PrizePicks. We do daily content right here on this channel for PrizePicks stuff, including live streams with Josh. Josh is a literal neuroscientist. He's crazy smart. I don't know why he's gambling. or skill wagering, but he is. So I'm going to exploit his brain while I can. And you guys can exploit this first deposit match bonus while you can sign up on PrizePicks. Use code GUNDACKER. I'm sure that's...
I appreciate, Gundacker, that you use me and then you bring on Josh. So it's like the dumb and the smart. See, you have a good mixture here. I don't blame you.
I have to lean on others to prop me up, man. It makes my work a lot easier.
I'm with you.
It's all right, though. Shout out to the live chat, though. Chat, man, I need you guys to do better on these likes. 63 of them. Can we get to 100? 100 likes. And
100.
I did some studies from I think Harvard University. They did a case study on my channel. They essentially studied several DraftKings Fanduel user accounts, and then study people that watch the stream, and then study people that watch the stream and hit the thumbs up. It turns out people that do hit the thumbs up are exponentially increasing their odds of doing well tonight. So, I mean, you can't argue with science. Hit that thumbs up. I've
heard if you hit the thumbs up, you're almost guaranteed to make money tonight. That's just a rumor going around. But
you said it. Not me. Main event tonight, Washington Wizards, the Portland Trail Blazers. We got projected starting 5 for the Wizards. Raul Neto, Contavious, Caldwell Pope, Corey Kispert, Kyle Kuzma, and Daniel Gafford taking on Brandon Williams, CJ Ellaby, Josh Hart, Elijah Hughes, Drew Eubanks. 220.5 total, just a 6-point spread in favor of the Washington Wizards. For the Blazers, Eric Bledsoe, Damian Lillard, Yusef Nurkic, Anthony Simons, Justice Winslow, all out. And this has been a team that should not be playing professional basketball games as of late. I will say they drew the short end of the stick in that at Utah outing. Just a tough spot to be in. Utah at home is just really, really tough. And on top of all that, that was like their third game. And no, it wasn't. No excuses. They suck. They're bad. Tonight, though, one of the more competitive spreads that they've been involved in. So at the very least, we do have an opportunity to plant decent minute projections on several of these players. Brandon Williams, maybe sub 5K on FanDuel, might be a guy that you expect for big minutes. Josh Hart, under 6K on FanDuel. Like, there's some names I can justify getting to. I've been playing more Trendon Watford in the last 2 weeks than I ever expected to play to start the season because I had no no idea who the F that was in October. Washington, night two of a back-to-back. Kristaps Porzingis is out. It is a spot for Kyle Kuzma to maybe take advantage of one of those high-usage situations that he has been flexing all year. That spot, no Beal, no Dinwiddie, no Montrezl Harrell, and his price has kind of seen a reduction because of sharing the court maybe with Kristaps Porzingis. Well, that's not the case here. So maybe Kyle Kuzma profiles as a pretty solid late night hammer. You want the hammer, go on, get the hammer. Coach, anything other than Kyle Kuzma in this main event to throw in some of our player pools?
I'm right on with you, man. I think Kuzma, if you're going to go somewhere, Kuzma's the guy to go to. He's pricey, so it depends on what type of build you're putting together, but it does really fit for him. And even though Porzingis has only played a couple of games, which get used to it if you're a Wizards fan because the dude never plays, but when he is in there, he does get shots up and, can dominate the ball at times. So without him in there, Kuzma's, to me, the best play in this game. But this game's it's rough. I don't like playing Portland games at all anymore. I'll challenge the group here that's listening. If they could come up with a better team that is this bad in the last 15 years, the only team I could think of in the last 15 years where there was a Charlotte team that won 9 games, and they were pathetic. But this product that Portland's putting out there is very close to that. I mean, Keon Johnson, these guys like that, Hughes and Watford and Brown, they should never be past the G League. So it makes it very tough. I will say Brandon Williams has some up-and-coming talent, but 6'2", man, they priced him right up. Josh Hart's been a disastrous play the last few times I've tried to put him in there. So I'm just done with Portland. I'm done with that agitation. I think Washington probably smacks him around. And, Kuzma, I will say, not that we need any more value today, but Rui Hachimura with the guys out, starting to get more minutes in the rotation, and he is a decent points per minute guy. At 3.2, he's not the worst, last guy in to make your value.
Yeah. Because did you hear that commotion in the background at the beginning of all
I heard something. I tried to ignore it and try to be professional. I don't know if it was a sneeze or somebody took a fall. What happened?
I have a cat that is a friggin' dog, essentially, man. He has this thing for tipping over trash cans. Not even necessarily to, eat what's in it. Just to do it. He's a douchebag, okay? He's a jerk.
Cats are bad news.
Danny, she went to go get her nails done, and the cat just, no one's in here. Let me knock over trash cans.
Nice.
So this one just happened to have a bunch of Bang cans in it, and they just all started spilling out. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
I mean, it's whatever. Shout out to cats.
And you always use that term. There's more than one
multiple ways to skin a cat. Yeah, we're gonna start actually documenting the ways the cat by cat here. Oh, PETA's getting me now. All right, so I'm in agreement with you. I will have a little bit of Kuzma to kind of cap off tonight. Wonder if there's some value worth having in Daniel Gafford's DraftKings price point. I'm getting a near 30 fantasy point projection on that. Portland has been bleeding fantasy points to every position in existence. And Gafford, he's still over 5K on Fanduel. I need that 30. But, hey, remember, no Porzingis. There's no Montrezl Harrell. It is a back-to-back for them. Sometimes they've been skittish with these Thomas Bryant minutes. So, seems likely that unless Anthony Gill is going to be a big part of this rotation, 3,700 just might be a little too cheap for Gafford, so I will put him in the player pool, him and Kuzma, to kind of end my night. The heart wants what the heart wants, and I kind of am interested in 5,900 Josh Hart just because it is a 6-point spread. But I don't know how much action I'll actually get behind that because I didn't really get to an aggressive minute projection on anyone, but I don't have a clue on where to begin in planting minutes on these guys because of how much of a rotating carousel they've been in terms of who's starting, who's on the team. A couple 10-day contracts show up, and so on and so forth. So that is our slate, though. That's our Saturday night slate. Chat, we got a couple minutes to maybe revisit some 1v1 stuff like that. Just another reminder, in 15 minutes I'm going to be live again on this channel. It's going to be a separate video talking prize picks and what's up there on their board. Remember, it's a late lock tonight, so we can chill out a little bit longer. If you guys want to hang out with me after the party, it's the after party, and after that party, it's the Discord lobby. And you guys can jump in that Discord. Go to rundfs.com, click VIP memberships, grab a week pass, try it out, man. We got projections, player pools. I actually share my exposure levels, like in my MME. I have something called Guns DK pull percentage and Fanduel pull percentage. So I am essentially exporting the data of my mass entry. So like last night, you'll see that I had 70% Lucas, 70% Şengün. That didn't go well, but I did have 40% Dwight Powell, 55% Spencer Dinwiddie. I had 69% in this update, but I ended up going to 100% Devontae Graham at the end, when it was all said and done. Friend of the channel. I had to do it for the homie. And in the first quarter, had me sweating, not gonna lie. But as late swap happened, I was able to get through and through. But yeah, if you guys want to kind of cross-reference your player pool to mine, I do have that in the rundfs.com VIP spreadsheet. Bing bong.
You made it happen. One super chatted $5. Hit the like and stick around for the next show. Almost like printing money. Dollar Bill's face.
Dollar Bill's face. Okay. I appreciate that. What up, Willie? Gun, throw your Yankee hat to play with. No, thank you. No, thank you, Willie. That's ridiculous. I do have a new Yankee hat, though. I've been playing it. I've been using it on my Twitch streams when I play Fortnite. But I don't know. I just love this hat. Those secret boxes that these companies send me. If you guys start sending me beanie hats, I'll start wearing them. But I'm not much for like trucker hats and stuff like that. But yeah. How many studs can we pay up for on FanDuel? Man, Andrew, I think there's plenty of value on FanDuel to really be ultra creative. The thing is with the thought of studs today, the 10, 12, 11K guys. I don't know why I went 10, 12, 11 there. That was weird. There's a lot of 8K greatness, and even less than that. Like if we go to that Heat situation, right? Heat are 3-man stackable through and through. Adebayo, Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry, and then you also feel like one of these other guys will slip through here. The Tyrese Halliburton price point, the FanDuel price point on Darius Garland's really nice. If Zach LaVine gets ruled out, DeRozan's under 10K, Vooch is really, really cheap. So I almost don't feel as enamored with the thought of jamming in studs and scrubs, because I do like the thought of a lot of AK 50, 60 fantasy point games tonight. So I'm going to probably have more balance build, and my player exposure will kind of reflect that. So while it is kind of fun to make a...
8, I think. Was that the...
Yeah, I don't know.
There's enough combination of numbers that you can make it work either way. But that's the beauty. There shouldn't be just dead chalk lineups. It should be a good mixture.
Yeah, chat. Are we out there? One's in chat. If I'm still alive, I don't know. I lost. I heard a ding.
Lose people?
I don't know if the chat might have lost me. I heard a ding in my headset, so sometimes that means I lose frames. But I think it picked back up. So chat, let me know. Let me some movement out there. Let me know that we good. This internet lately, Spectrum. I literally the only thing I can get, and I pay for that gig, right? Gig down at like 40, 50. Yeah. Millibeeps up, and they're like usually fine, but every now and then there's been this burp. We experienced it the other night as well. Kind of annoying when we do a lot of live streaming. But yes, I do like the mid tiers quite a bit tonight. What else did I miss in the live chat? All right, chat. Appreciate that. CW says, if Jordan Clarkson starts, how many minutes do you think he plays, and does he stay in there if they're up by 30? So I don't know. My boy Jake, he's the resident Utah fan. He kind of expresses a constant feeling that it seems like the Jazz want Clarkson to continue to come off the bench. I don't know if that's to keep him eligible for like 6 man of the year considerations. And maybe we see a weird lineup with like House or somebody or NAW. So I'm not 100% like expecting him to start right now. I do have him projected as the starting point guard, or shooting guard, because Trent Forrest is out. But don't be surprised if he doesn't start, just because of how they've been. And then would he be part of the mop up squad? I actually think that's a great question too, because that might have been a Trent Forrest job. Maybe today it becomes an NAW job. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I have a pretty modest projection on Clarkson. You got to believe more overlap minute-wise with Donovan Mitchell is not necessarily a good thing. I like him to be out there on that second unit kind of doing everything by himself. When he's in the starting lineup, if he's sharing the court with Mitchell, with Bojan, he could be third fiddle, as Coach would say, and that could take away some of his upside. So, yeah.
I don't think Clarkson starts. I mean, Coach Snyder's pretty much just wants him off the bench in that rotation. So I don't think he starts. And mop-up minutes, maybe some, but I wouldn't count on, a whole fourth quarter of action. So,
yeah. Doug says, could you rank Kuzma, Mobley, Bam, and Siakam? I think Bam won. I want to say Kuzma or Mobley second. And then Siakam right now 4, but he has ability to move to 3 if we lose Van Vliet, but I'm still a little skittish on the back-to-back with going into Denver. But I think Bam Adebayo is my clear number 1 here, knowing what we know with Jimmy Butler out, with the matchup of the Pacers being, or not the Pacers, with the matchup of the Timberwolves being so fruitful. Maybe they run that pretty high pace. I just think he's a little bit underpriced, and I'll probably get north of a 50 fantasy point projection on both sites when I'm done tightening the screw. So I will say he seems like a confident one for me. Coach, what do you think? Adebayo, Kuzma, Mobley, Siakam, 1 through 4.
I go definitely Bam, and then Kuzma, Mobley a close third, and then Siakam a distant fourth for me. Not that Siakam's a bum. I just don't like the game projection in Utah, back-to-back, etc.
All right, so we're in line there. And, Coach, the people, man, where do they find your content at? Where can they follow you on Twitter?
On Twitter, you can reach the whole team here at Coach Talk, and it's at DFS. That's Daily Fantasy Sports, at DFS Coach Talk. I'm at Joe Sarvadi, JoeSarvadi. Same thing on YouTube, DFS Coach Talk, and you can check us out, dfscoachtalk.com. Also, tomorrow, Sundays, I don't know if you're taking off as normal, Gun, but if your listeners are looking for some content tomorrow, I provide on Sundays, and it is an 8-game slate, so definitely check me out. I'll be posting that podcast on YouTube, DFS Coach Talk.
Yeah, definitely checked it out. Steve's Nova says, who was Coach's lock watchers? Bam and, was it Trey Jones?
It was Bam and Trey Jones, correct.
Bam. Mike Durbin says, weird question, does Jimmy being out make us like anyone from Minnesota more? I think it makes... I already had a path to D'Angelo Russell without Patrick Beverley. Anthony Edwards-Price still has a lot of meat on the bone. And then it just kind of keeps that game a little bit closer. So not necessarily liking him more specifically due to Jimmy being out, but yeah, if you want to say Jimmy's defense being removed from the equation creates maybe a higher floor ceiling outcome for Edwards and D-Russ. That makes sense. Guys, I'll be back in just a couple minutes. The PrizePicks show, myself, Josh, we're going to look at the PrizePicks board. Make sure you're on PrizePicks. Code Gundecker. Coach, I appreciate your time, and I'll see you later.
You got it.
All right, Chad, if you're out of here, you're not going to be in the PrizePicks show. I hope you have a good evening. But if you're going to join me, that'd be great. I love you guys. Good luck. God bless. And go win some money.